and welcome to our webinar on Charting a Sustainable Course, Solution for Aviation Decarbonization, brought to you by CFAIR. That's the Council on Food, Agricultural, and Resource Economics. My name is Jane Kolodinsky, and I'm the CFAIR Program Chair. It's my pleasure to be moderating today's webinar. It's CFAIR's mission to translate high-level research and knowledge to a diverse audience that includes policymakers, elected officials, and federal administrators. When we demonstrate the value of the profession to these groups, the Council increases public appreciation for research, extension, outreach, and academic programs in agricultural and applied economics. Before we get started, I wanted to provide some background on today's topic. With the aviation industry facing increasing pressure to curb its greenhouse gas emissions, this webinar presents information to better understand the likely effect and sustainable solutions from proposed regulations. Our webinar provides an overview of airline emission trends and discusses the carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation, that's CORSIA, highlighting its goals and implementation challenges. Next, the methodologies for quantifying the carbon intensity of different aviation fuels, including sustainable aviation fuels, will be discussed, highlighting the role of life cycle analysis in this process. Our webinar concludes by offering the industry's perspectives on the economic and logistical aspects of transitioning to lower carbon fuels and addressing supply chain constraints, infrastructure needs, and potential investment opportunities. This multifaceted discussion will hopefully foster a holistic understanding of aviation decarbonization's complexities.
Hello all, thank you so much for taking part of your Friday afternoon to spend with us today. You've heard from two great speakers that are working hard to decarbonize aviation and produce sustainable aviation fuel everywhere from ag all the way up to flight. So today I'm excited to share with you Marquis's vision of decarbonization and how we can provide a net neutral, if not net negative, feedstock to decarbonize sustainable aviation fuel. Next slide, please. For those of you that haven't seen one before, this is an ethanol plant. This is located, Marquis, which is located in Hennepin, Illinois, where we produce 400 million gallons a year of sustainable ethanol. And we have two dually redundant but mutually exclusive trains. And this 400 million gallons per year makes us the second largest ethanol plant in the world. We sell almost all of our products internationally and have registrations for our products into 36 countries on 6 different continents. Next slide, please. We started our company in 1975 with our CEO and founder, Mark Marquis, with a $300 grain dealer's license and a pickup truck. And today we've grown it to an international company with offices in Singapore and expanded to make high protein meal. We also make USP alcohol and bottle it on site with a contract manufacturer and have 3,500 acres of this Marquis industrial complex, which was a former steel mill. Next slide. We are looking towards the future. We are investing in the American bioeconomy today. We have CHP, which is combined heat and power, which will come online next month. And this combined heat and power plant will provide electricity to the plant through the combustion of natural gas. And we'll also be able to capture the CO2 off of that plant and capture that and sequester it, which leads us to our next adventure, which is carbon capture and sequestration. We have had a Class 6 permit in, and hopefully this year we'll be able to start construction of our CCS plant. We have a grant from the DOE to utilize CO2 on site. In 2025, we'll be constructing this plant, and we'll be producing in 2026 100,000 gallons of CO2-derived ethanol. We have a 6,000 ton per day soy crush facility that's currently under engineering. And today we're going to talk more about our SAF facility that's planned for construction and operation by 2030. Next slide, please. So for those of you that don't know, this is the products today that we can make from from corn kernel. So a third of the corn kernel goes to ethanol, a third goes to feed products, and then a third goes to CO2. So we like to say, instead of a food versus fuel problem, we are a feed and fuel solution, producing both feed and ethanol at the same exact mass out of our plants. Next slide, please. But our vision for the future is that these biorefineries, formerly known as ethanol plants, can produce multiple chemicals that can decarbonize everything from SAF, renewable diesel, ethylene production that can decarbonize 3,000 different chemicals. We can also create bioplastics and provide a decarbonization solution for marine and rail. In the future, we're also looking at making our products from CO2, understanding that that's a valuable biogenic resource that we're able to use from the corn kernel. Next slide, please. But in order to do that, we need to decarbonize the feedstock. And in 2010, Marquis recognized this, and we were certified into ISCC. So what that means is that we developed a farmer program where we have over half of our bushels that come into our plant certified under a third-party certification that verifies the CI of our farming practices. So I'd like to take a moment right now and recognize the CSA package that came out this week and guidance that came out this week from USDA, and thank them for their hard work on that to really provide a feedback to the farmers that allows them to decarbonize or a roadmap for the farmers to help them decarbonize their carbon intensity footprint and provide a way for us to give money back to the farmers and invest in the farmers if this is tied to 45Z. It's a great program. We want to applaud and thank USDA for the hard work on that. With that, we're still developing our farmer program with Marquis, ensuring that our farmers are doing sustainable practices and lowering their CI so that we can create a sustainable ethanol plant and continue production of low carbon ethanol. Next slide, please. So Marquis also sits on the Mount Simon Sandstone. We've had a permit in to the EPA for a Class 6 permit for CCS for over 2 years now. We've been working on this project for 5 years, and hopefully this year, that if the permit gets passed, and we've been working diligently with the EPA to get that passed this year after the 2 years, almost 3 years now of the permit, in order to decarbonize our ethanol plant. This will bring our CI score, if we're looking at the 45Z CF model, if you look at the default score of around 50 MMBTUs, 50 kilograms per MMBTU, we'll actually bring that down into the teens, which is great for carbon sequestration and be able to provide a feedstock to the industry that will show that we can decarbonize and produce ethanol sustainably. Next slide, please. We have a project at Marquis to tie into and create a sustainable ethanol plant that can then tie into a SAF process. So we're investing in an ethanol to jet plant. We have received a grant from the FAA called the Fast SAF grant. And this Fast SAF grant will take the ethanol that we produce, which will be in the carbon negative, if not carbon neutral. It'll dehydrate it, and then it'll create ethylene. That ethylene molecule will go through a polymerization to hydrogenation and then to fractionation, where we can make SAF and renewable diesel. So we want to thank the FAA for investing in this process. And by 2027, we will have results of this in order to help spur the creation of our SAF plant at Marquis. The SAF plant is 120 million gallons per year and is able to produce both SAF and renewable diesel. We're evaluating 3 different technologies in order to accomplish and find the best technology with the lowest CI. So as the previous speaker, Anna, mentioned, Marquis is investing in decarbonization strategies. So I mentioned CCS. So CCS will allow us to decarbonize by sequestering the biogenic CO2. But there's also an opportunity to capture and sequester the CO2-derived natural gas combustion, or the natural gas combustion CO2 that we can then capture and sequester. With that, and with attaching the CSA program to 45Z, we will be able to create in 2030 SAF that is carbon neutral, if not carbon negative, at Marquis. So this is an opportunity to produce 120 million gallons per year, almost double what's being sold today, and carbon neutral, if not carbon negative. And if we can count the CSA practices in 45Z, that will even further allow us to pass those benefits onto our farmers and then have them help us reach that carbon negative goal of actually taking CO2 out of the atmosphere when making ethanol at our plant and creating SAF at our plant. So we're excited for the future here at Marquis. We like to say we were into carbon before carbon was cool. And we like to say that we appreciate all the efforts that FAA and USDA is going to make sure that biofuels are part of the process in order to help decarbonize aviation. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Jane, and I think we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you all of our panelists.